Hi there, it's a very good day to you, and I am looking forward to tonight's session, which in fact is session 4 of the God Memorandum, which is chapter 9 of Og Mandino's book, The Greatest Miracle in the World. And with me, of course, Daniel, the ever handsome and the one and only Daniel van Sale in the Cape to help me as we go through this, and your host, Doc, and myself. So,
Yep.
what I would like us to do is to literally start by listening to the next 5 minutes from Wanda Kay as she has so graciously allowed us to use her words on the God Memorandum. For those following in the books, we are on page 100 and we ended off on 24 minutes and 27 seconds after the words, go another mile. Well, this is exactly where it's going to start. Okay, so here we go. Let me just share that and let's just make sure that we share the sound and that we are on the right screen share. Daniel, can you confirm that you can see the screen? Fantastic. And here we go. So please take notes, get your books out, make your own notes as we listen to Wanda for the next 5 minutes.
Where is this field whence you cried there was no opportunity? Look around thee. See where only yesterday you wallowed in the refuse of self-pity. You now walk tall on a carpet of gold. Nothing has changed except you. But you are everything. You are his greatest miracle. You're the greatest miracle in the world. And now the laws of happiness and success are 3. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. Go another mile. Be patient with your progress. To count your blessings with gratitude. To proclaim your rarity with pride. To go an extra mile and then another. These acts are not accomplished in the blinking of an eye, yet that which you acquire with most difficulty, you retain the longest, as those who've earned a fortune are more careful of it than those by whom it was inherited. And fear not as you enter your new life. Every noble acquisition is attended with its risks. He who fears to encounter the one must not expect to obtain the other. Now you know you're a miracle, and there is no fear in a miracle. Be proud. You are not the momentary whim of a careless creator experimenting in the laboratory of life. You are not a slave of forces that you cannot comprehend. You are a free manifestation of no force but God's, of no love but God's. You were made with a purpose. Feel his hand. Hear his words. You need God. He chose you. We have a world to rebuild, and if it requireth a miracle, what is that to us? We are both miracles, and now we have God. Never has he lost faith in you since that day when he first spun mankind from a giant wave and tossed him helplessly on the sand so long ago. There were many models, shapes, sizes before he reached perfection in man. He made no further effort to improve on mankind in all these years, so how could he improve on a miracle? Man was a marvel to behold, and God was pleased. He gave humanity this world and dominion over it. Then, to enable you to reach your full potential, he placed his hand upon you once more and endowed you with powers unknown to any other creature in the universe, even unto this day. He gave you the power to think. He gave you the power to love. He gave you the power to will. He gave you the power to laugh. He gave you the power to imagine. He gave you the power to create. He gave you the power to plan. He gave you the power to speak. He gave you the power to pray. He gave you the power to heal. God's pride in you knew no bounds. You were his ultimate creation, his greatest miracle, a complete living being, one who can adjust to any climate, any hardship, any challenge, one who can manage his own destiny without any interference, one who can translate a sensation or perception not by instinct, but by thought and deliberation into whatever action is best for himself and all humanity. Thus, we come to the fourth law of success. For he gave you one more power, a power so great that not even the angels possess it. He gave you the power to choose. With this gift, he placed you even above the angels, for the angels are not free to choose sin. He gave you complete control over your destiny. He told you to determine for yourself your own nature in accordance to your own free will. Neither heavenly nor earthly in nature, you were free to fashion yourself in whatever form you preferred. You had the power to choose to degenerate into the lowest forms of life, but you also have the power, out of your soul's judgment, to be ennobled, to choose higher, greater, and embrace the divine. He's never withdrawn your great power, the power to choose.
Welcome back. As we now know that we now have the fourth law. And isn't that absolutely wonderful as Daniel and I take you further on this journey, looking at page 100. And it ended with that previous law, which was go another mile. But now you ask the question, it says, where's the field whence you cried where there was no opportunity? Look around, see? Only yesterday you wallowed on the refuse of self-pity. And now you walk tall on a carpet of gold. Nothing has changed except you. Now, wow. So he says, we look into misery into ourselves. Nothing's changed except us. And that is why. Why is that, Daniel? Why have we changed?
It's obviously because we realize the things that even if we go through now through what we've gone through is like we counted our blessings and we proclaimed our rarity, and then we go another mile. Without this knowledge, we wouldn't have been able to change. You can't change the world, but you can change yourself, and that is where he talks about yesterday you were different, but today you know. As I always say, if you know better, you can do better. So today we know better because of the things that we went through in this book itself, and realizing that we are the miracle.
And it's true, like it says, there's no excuse. He actually says this phrase, he repeats it twice there. You are my greatest miracle. And then he repeats, you are the greatest miracle in the world. So I think, and I've actually underlined that in terms of, do we take him seriously, Daniel? You see, I think it's very important that we listen attentively to what he is saying. So then he takes us and gives us a summary. Now that we know who we are the greatest miracle. He gives us his three laws. What are they, Daniel?
Again, is count your blessings, proclaim your rarity, and then go another mile.
So if we say count your blessings, what was that, Daniel?
Count your blessings is basically is, you can breathe, you can see, you can hear, all the physical things that we have as a person. So I would say all you're blessed to see, you're blessed to hear. I would say all the physical things in the world that we are blessed with that others may not be as blessed to have. I would say that's your blessings.
I must say, when I went for a morning jog this morning, again, I look around and I said, thank you that I can see, thank you that I can hear, thank you that I can smell. But I remember the one I said, thank you that my skin holds in this body. Things aren't seeping out of the body. I mean, for me, that's just the biggest miracle, that this skin is keeping in what it has to keep. And the next one is proclaim your rarity. Daniel, what is your take on that?
I would say complain your rarity is like you're unique. You're one in billions of millions of cells that when you were born or created, and you're rare. There's never going to be somebody like you, exactly like you, ever going to be made. So you are the rarest of the rare. So I take it as like, you're numero uno. You're number one, one of your kind.
But I want to challenge you because, I felt a little bit uncomfortable in terms of when it says proclaim your rarity. I said to myself, okay, Lord, what does that mean? That means I have to literally look at you, Daniel, and say, Daniel, let me tell you who I am. Did you know that one of my greatest gifts is that I'm an advisor to many, and I use the gift of wisdom and discernment to help them find their path in the kingdom route? And at first I thought, but isn't that a little bit arrogant to speak like that about yourself? But it's an instruction. Proclaim your rarity. So the question to you is, Daniel, who are you? Proclaim your rarity right now so people know who Daniel is.
I would say I'm just a guy who helps people see see their future and take them on a road that were set for them, and so they can realize what their rarity is, and basically fall in love with them again, because there's so much hate and so much unlove and in the world, that we need to get back to that simple little thing of loving each other for who we are, for the rarity that we are. And just to add on to what you said, you felt a little bit off on doing that, is even if I teach somebody or show somebody the road, it's still rare, because that person is not going to follow the road exactly the way I would have done it. So they still rare, and you still help them to get into their rarity themselves.
Well, I just want to declare over you, I believe that your rarity is that you are a rag picker, picking up people at points where they need help the most, and you serve them. That's what I see you do best. That's rare.
So it's basically as a servant to others. Be a servant to others.
Perfect. And then it's go another mile. Now, for me, going another mile is when you actually have taken the time to help somebody, you may as well do your level best to go as far as you can to help them. And when you just do more than they expected, that's where the true blessing lies. Because remember, that blessing comes back to you. So often I found that people say, and they bless you with something. Let's say somebody blesses you financially, says, "Oh, no, don't thank me." No. We need to thank you, because otherwise we rob you of your blessing, because you've already gone another mile to bless me. So I think that's important, that we put our pride in our pockets and say, thank you, I received that. Now, for you going another mile, what would that look like?
I would say it's more or less the same as that, because I mean, you take it from yourself. You probably, somebody has given you something and you want to thank him, and he says, no, thank you. Or you give somebody something to somebody, and many times they say, oh, thank you so much, Doc, and thank you so much, Doc. And then we say, no, that's fine. Instead of saying no to that, we need to accept that.
Correct.
That blessing, because as you say, Doc, it's like you bless them, and by them saying thank you back to you, it's them blessing you. And when you say no thanks, you're devoiding yourself of the blessing coming back towards you.
Fully agree. Okay, so to our listeners tonight, what I want you to do now is I'm going to repeat those three blessings that we have said for, three laws. But what I want you to do is just give us a one line in terms of each one of these and say, I am. So I say, count your blessing. What is the number one or two things that you do count a blessing? Proclaim your rarity. What is your rarity? And then go another mile. Give us a illustration or description of when you last went another mile and how you felt about that. How does that sound? So that's a bit of a challenge. Type it there so that we can enjoy your feedback for that. Then as we go to the top of page 101, there's a caution. Be patient with your progress. Because the truth is, we get so impatient with ourselves. You know, one day we succeed, the next day we fail again, and then we get angry and we get impatient with ourselves. But this is encouragement. Be patient with your progress. Count your blessings with gratitude. Proclaim your rarity with pride. Go to an extra mile and then another. Is an act that are accomplished in a blink of an eye. So it literally says to you, whenever there is this blessing, gratitude. Wherever you proclaim your rarity, do it with pride. But I see with pride, with humility is what I see. And then going the extra mile, it's just, you know what? It's an act that's accomplished within the blinking of an eye, because you actually don't even realize you went the extra mile. I mean, that's what really stands out. And for you, Daniel?
For me, it's the same. Especially at first instance, you can look back. I mean, we live in what they call a microwave society. Everything needs to be put in, and it's immediately needs to be done now. People don't want to wait for the results. But unfortunately, in life, sometimes it takes a little bit while to sink it in. I mean, even with this book, the instruction is to read it for 100 days. And, you know, sometimes something happens and then we stop reading it. And then it was like, oh, no, but now. But the thing is, you can always start over. You can always restart reading a book and restart doing your 100 days. And for me, that is important. It's like to do that and to take your time, literally like take your time, because it's a process. You have to filter out the old and then replace it with the new. And that's not going to happen overnight. That I can promise you it's not going to happen, but it will happen eventually. That's why it's made over the 100 days, because you need to get into the flow of it.
I must say, I found another way to read in a different way. Because if you've been reading this every single day, especially when it comes to count your blessings, you already know the order of the 10 blessings that he's going to give. And instead of me reading it, I'm actually audibly saying it to myself. For instance, like when I go on my run, I said, number 1, can you see? Yes. So your eyes are open. Count your blessing that you can see. Can you hear? Yes, I can hear. Now, literally go through those 10 factors. Now, know when I get to the love one, count it twice, because the ability to love and the ability to be loved. So what I'm just illustrating is, if you, for some time, for some day, you can't pick up the book, you know it so well that you can recite it because you're reading it in a different way. So it's literally, these are touch points. As you're reminded about these blessings, it just makes such a difference in your life for that day because you are voicing it. You see, there's power in the words. The moment you've said it, there's power.
And that's the whole thing about it, is the repetition of it. It's for you to, for your subconscious basically to immediately, just when you're in a situation, that thing kicks in, because now you're geared towards, you're the greatest miracle in the world. So things are different for you. You see things differently. Instead of like the old ways of focus on the bad, now your gears in your mind are different. You're different programming. So you're going to see the good things. Same as what you say, when you run, you bring up the things, and it's a repetitive. It's like,
and
oh,
you do
that's
feel
good.
better
Oh,
about
no.
yourself
Yes.
because you realize, hold on,
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
blessed.
Yes.
I mean, like somebody says to me, hey, dude, what do you mean you ran 10Ks? I said, yeah, I did. But you see, it's because I believe in myself, and just because I'm speaking to myself that I actually can do it. I didn't say I was running fast. Okay, let's get that clear. It might, for you, it might look like a shuffle. I don't care. But I get there and I do 10Ks at a time because
Fast
it's
for
my
you.
time that I make time for me to speak to the Lord, speak to myself, think about my goals. You know, every person must spend his time the way that you think. But, you know, I think alone time is sometimes of the best time that anybody can have.
Yeah. 100%.
I just want to end this paragraph, and I said I saw one of the most fascinating sentences ever. It says that those who have earned a fortune are more careful of it than those by whom it was inherited. Daniel, that hit me bang smack in the ribs.
In the face.
That for those who have earned a fortune, that means you've worked towards it.
Blood and sweat.
Blood and sweat. You're far more careful than the person who inherited. And that's what's wrong with our society, is that so many people have just inherited and they've just been given. And you know what? They don't give back to society because they just want. In fact, there's a want society. I just remember I used to have a person that was actually a prayer partner, but the first words out of her mouth always was, I want. Until one day I said, you know, you need to stop wanting because you're always needy. The person never knew it because he didn't realize those were the words that she used. Crazy.
And some words are powerful. It resonates in your subconscious, and that's what you want. That's what you become at the end of the day. And it's good that you say, because that also, that saying is easy come, easy go. I don't know if you heard of that.
Yeah.
That's also part of it. And I would say that is if you earn it, you know you worked for it. You put in your time to receive it. Where it's like it just come to you, and then you in that thing. Oh well, it will always be there.
Correct.
Where sometimes it's not.
Well, the next paragraph, Daniel, I want you to take it because it deals on the issue that used to be an issue for me. Go for it.
Yes, it's sort of like let's face the scariness.
Yeah. Go for it.
And fear not as you enter your new life. Every noble acquisition is attended with its risks. He who fears to encounter the one must not expect to obtain the other.
So,
and we'll go on with the last bit in just a bit after this.
So sort of like it's a choice between or fear or. So it's either fear or you conquer the fear. So it's either fear or no fear. But the thing is, they say that the two sort of don't expect to obtain the other. That means if you are fearful, don't expect to become not fearful. Because either you embrace and saying, I'm not fearful, or you live in fear. One of the two. And then he makes that punchy statement, and that is,
Now you know you are a miracle, and there is no fear in a miracle.
boom. You know, when I read that, there is no fear in a miracle. I'm just thinking of standing. I was speaking to somebody that,
Yeah.
in my mind, I was not worthy to speak to this person because I'm a junior and this guy is such a senior. And I just heard this little thing: don't fear, you're a miracle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just puts you on. It's not an arrogance. It's just an assertiveness that comes out that says, a miracle doesn't fear. And when you feel the anxiety and you feel when people just say, a miracle does not fear, and I am a miracle. As
Yeah.
easy as that.
And a simple thing about fear is it's just being unaware of the things not yet happened. So it's the, I don't want to use the word fear, it's the not knowing of the unknowing.
Yeah.
That's all that fear is. It's like, that's where fear comes from, because let's say I have to approach you. The fear is like, oh my God, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. What's he going to say about me? You know, that is like, you don't know what's coming. And it's also turns back to this, is like, a noble acquisition is attended with its risk. So you need to take the risk. You need to take the risk and say, well, listen here, I'm going to talk to Doc and I'm going to talk to this person. He's going to either say yes or no. It's like, there's no other way.
But there's truth in that, and that is that if you encourage somebody to actually go and speak to someone else,
yes,
it is conquering that fear to do it.
Yes.
Because, you know,
Yes.
if you look at the acronym, many people use fear as false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
And it's true.
Yes.
We shouldn't have to be fearful of another person. Can they eat you? No. I mean, can they lambaste you? No. But the thing is, many people got hurt because they have been in the conversation with a narcissistic person. Narcissistic people are terrible. I mean, they are the king of their castle, and it's all about them. It's like I call about the unholy trinity: I, me, and myself. I mean, that's bad. You know, when we suffers with those three, I call that the unholy trinity: I, me, and myself. That doesn't work. All right. So that's the kind of guy that I can understand that people have got a fear or the apprehensiveness of being in the presence, but we shouldn't be. We're a miracle.
Yeah.
So just take it in our stride. All right.
Yeah, but then also in that sense is, when you're a miracle, is then you're important to God, and if you're important to God, then why fear? Then there shouldn't be any fear.
In fact, then the question is, what else matters? Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Okay, take us through the next paragraph.
And say, be proud. You are not a momentary whim of a careless creator experimenting in the laboratory of life. You are not a slave of forces that you cannot comprehend. You are a free manifestation of no force but mine, of love but mine. You were made with a purpose.
Oh, wow. So he says, listen, we went this experiment in a laboratory. I mean, we weren't just a whim. We weren't just a free manifestation.
Accident,
fact, that's right. But you were a manifestation of no force but mine. Love of mine. Because you were made with a purpose.
Purpose,
There you go. Number one,
that's
miracles don't fear. Number two, you are made with a purpose. Now,
purpose,
so many people actually battle to find their purpose. And that's why, I'll be honest with you, I spend a lot of my time as a personal coach helping people find their purpose. I tell you straight, I use the Kaizen principle that I believe is one of the best principles when people discern of what are you good at? What do you love doing? What do people say you're good at? What can you get paid for? What does the world need? Those are sort of the 5 questions that I go through them. But it's funny enough, people never sit and take the time to make a list of all of those. But when I do it on a coaching session with them, which sometimes is 30 minutes, then they go like, oh my word, because people don't take time to really look hardly at themselves. But the question is, what is your purpose? I mean, we've spoken earlier, because proclaiming your rarity is linked to your purpose, Daniel. Proclaiming my rarity is linked to my purpose. Isn't that true?
Yes.
So I'd like to encourage
100%.
the people that are listening in tonight and say, my purpose is ... Go for it. Because we will be encouraged that you are actually participating and you're telling us what your purpose is. Thank you for doing that. Remember, make your note at the bottom. Awesome.
Awesome.
Then he says, feel my hand, hear my words. You need me and I need you. What? What do you mean he needs us? I mean, I sort of know. But it says, feel my hand, hear my words. And it goes back to when we were born, that he had his hand on our brow. And he says,
Yeah.
feel me. Because now I realize he's taking us back to the very first moment
Beginning,
of inception. He was there. We just
Yeah.
didn't hear him. And that's why I said, can you remember? No, you couldn't. But he says, I need you. Because remember, God is not done with
For the
creating
purpose,
people. He wants everyone to have a purpose, because the solution to any problem is always a person.
Yes.
Can I say that again? The solution to any problem is always a person, but it's a person who is living out their purpose. Then it's not
Yes.
about me, I and myself, but it's about what can I do to make the world a better place for
others,
other
yeah.
people. That's it. So, and then he charges us. We have a world to rebuild. So there he says
Yes.
why. He believes that you and I have been called to help rebuild the world. So Daniel,
Yeah.
what else can you say there in terms of using the miracle you to rebuild the world?
We are all in this together, and everybody, as I say, has a purpose. I mean, Robert had a purpose to get to me, to get this book to me. I had a purpose to get this book back to you. And every time that happens, it helped him, it helped me, and now I believe it's also helping you to get
Absolutely.
you into the space that we needed to be, and into the how would I say, in the channel that we need to be. And this is just everybody, as you see, everybody has a purpose to fill.
Yeah.
Even if it's like we don't even see it, we don't even recognize it, we all have a purpose in the world. And that is what he says, what God calls us for on this one. We have the world to rebuild. We have to rebuild each other, because if you don't have somebody to lean on and help you show the way, then you're going to follow any way that's in front of you, and
Yes,
that might not be the right way.
a practical step. Do you know what I do? I
Yes.
can't help but going to a bookstore now and say, have you got this book on the shelf? Every single
I did it the
bookstore.
other day as well.
Every
Did
single
it the other
bookstore.
day
Because you
as
know what?
well.
That way I believe we are rebuilding the world. Because if more
Yeah.
people can hear God speaking to them, well, maybe we'll have a better world. I think it's all up to us. Okay. And it says, if it requires a miracle, what is that to us? We are both miracles, and now we're for each other.
Yes.
So God even just whispers and
Exactly.
says, you're a miracle, but remember, I'm a miracle too. I mean, I just sent you the sunset tonight. Wasn't that just beautiful of how it looked here?
It was.
Sun is setting, and it's like the master creator, the El Elyon, is just taking that brush and he's just creating this beautiful sky tonight. I can never get tired
No, you can't.
of the sunset. Never, 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 never,
Yeah.
never. Okay.
And it's always different.
It's always different. It's beautiful. Okay. Move along, Daniel. Here we go.
Then now it says, I first spun you. Oh, sorry. Never have I lost faith in you since that day when I first spun you from the giant wave and tossed you helplessly on the sand. As you measure time, that was more than 500 million years ago.
I
There
think
were,
not everybody
Yeah.
believes the time frames. The time frame is not important. But
yeah,
the thing
it's
is,
not a time frame.
God brought creation into it, and he says he put it all
Yes.
together. That's really what it's about. Because I don't want us to go into the discussion in terms of, but was it 7 days, was it millions? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We were created.
He was there in the beginning.
He was there in the beginning. Doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
In the beginning, he was there and he blessed us. That's it. And he says he's made no effort to improve on us in all these years. And that is true. If you look at people, green, yellow, or pink, you can see they are human beings. I mean, they are
Yes.
cognitively strong. They can think for themselves. And there's a distinct difference between a human being and an animal. It's just a fact of life. So that's
It's
what
more
God-
interesting to me is the fact that once we were created, he never really made changes to us. I mean,
True.
we more or less look the same. We still have 2 arms, 2 legs.
still see, we
don't
still
have
breathe, we still
15
speak.
legs or
Exactly.
yes, more or less all the same. So it's like once that thing is like, once you've created something great, why change the formula that works?
True. And then he asks a rhetorical question. Like, is he really asking this? How could one improve on a miracle? Come on.
Exactly.
In fact, he goes
Yes.
sort of, it's like, I see him shrug his shoulders. Well, how do you prove it a miracle? A miracle is a miracle.
Yeah.
Hey,
If you
you
made it
know,
right, if you made it perfect, then yeah, it's perfect.
absolutely, absolutely. And then what's the main idea there? He speaks about dominion. He wants you and I to take dominion. He actually given us that instruction from the beginning to have dominion. Because he says, I place my
Yeah.
hand upon you once more, endowed you with powers unknown to any other creature in the universe, even unto this day. So
Yes.
you and I just have to accept we are unique. We've been made
Yes.
uniquely with a purpose, and we are not animals. There's a reason
Yeah.
why. And then just when you think, really? Well, we go to page
Mm.
102. Now he
Ooh,
tells you line by line, just by
why?
thinking about it. Why?
Yeah.
What's the first one, Daniel?
And it says, I gave you the power to think.
Seriously? Some people are dead on their feet. They can't even think for
Yeah.
themselves. But he says that's a power
Yeah.
that I've given you. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we have to say to ourselves, stop, think. You stop, think, listen, look. Now, all of those kind of things, because it's like crossing a road. You know, the person that just wanders across, you're actually taking your life in your own hands because you don't know
Yeah.
whether the vehicle's going to hit you or not. But at least, you know, look right, look left, and then
Think. Yeah.
proceed. For me, it's thinking in terms of what you have to do. I'll take the next one. I gave you the power
Yeah.
to love. Now,
Oh yeah.
some people empower themselves to believe that they can withdraw their love from somebody by saying, I never want to speak to you again. I never want you to
Or
contact me
away from
again.
me. Yeah.
Walk away from me. But you know what? I think that's out of God's will because God says He gave us the power to love. So when we think we have the power not to love somebody, I believe we're out of His will. It's just not
Yes.
the way it is. You handle the next one?
Cool. Then I gave you the power to will. For me, it's about He gave you the power to do things. You think, and then you can do it. You to the will, to what you decide you're going to do.
Actually
Am
scary.
I going to walk over or not?
Yeah. It's scary because it's the only thing where He says, I've given you free will. You could choose
Yes.
yes or no. And that is why when somebody explained to me and said to me, you know, when it comes to when we are out of line with God, it's called sin. Sin is called missing the mark. And he says,
Yeah.
let's just take an example. If you are walking at a new university and you walk over the grass, and all of a sudden you see the sign that says, don't walk in the grass. Were you wrong? Answer, yes, you were wrong. Well, I
Yeah.
said, that's sin. You missed the mark. The mark was, don't walk over the grass. It says, but now tomorrow you get to the same grass patch and you look around and go, oh, well, there's nobody watching. Now you willfully walk over the grass. He says,
Yeah.
now you are being rebellious because you know it's not
You
right.
knew. Yeah.
Yeah,
You knew better. So you
correct.
could have done better, but you didn't.
And then you get that third stage when you just say, I don't care who sees me, I'm walking over the lawn anyway. And you just follow your own rule. I think this is
Yes.
what's happened to society. We start off by just slightly missing the mark. Then we become
Yes.
rebellious. And then we become truly dog-headed, stubborn, and say, I'll do it. I don't care about the consequences. You know what I call that? You have lost your fear of God because you
Yeah.
have now lived your self-will through such a way where you say to God, you don't matter. You
Yes,
don't
and
matter,
also
Lord.
that for me, it's about also that belief and half truths.
True.
If it's a half truth, you believe it, but then yeah, later on the half truth becomes a lie that you
True.
believe.
That's true. Okay, and then the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to call I wish Robert Hodges was here. I want to say, I gave you the power to laugh.
To laugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Robert, he can laugh at himself. We're
It's
laughing to laugh at
contagious.
himself.
That's
It's
it's
contagious. It is.
contagious. It's for me. It's another way of showing somebody love is to laugh and them laughing with you, because that, I mean, when you're stressed and you watch a comedy or something, when you laugh, it just takes away everything. Boof.
It does. And
That's what I see.
and
That's a power of
the
laugh.
power of positive contamination. Have you seen that
Yes.
guy that is on the
Yes.
subway? He's got his earphones in and he's looking at something very funny and he starts chuckling and he starts laughing.
Yeah, and
It,
everybody laughs, but they don't know why they laugh.
they don't know why they're laughing, but they're laughing because
Yeah,
it's
but
contagious.
laughing.
It really is
Yes.
contagious. Fantastic.
Yeah.
The next one is I gave you the power to imagine. Oh,
Imagine.
Daniel,
Oh
let's
wow.
take a moment of that. Everybody has been given the power to imagine, but I think people have lost their imagination because
Yeah.
they've become adults. You talk about a
Yeah.
little child. A little child takes so many chances. I mean, they crawl and then they start walking, and then because they're still wobbly, they fall down every now and then. Do you think they lie down and say, okay, I'm never going to walk again? No, they literally go on. And that is what it is with imagination, is that God wants us to trip up, but he wants us to get up again. And he wants us to imagine it again and again and see what and how we can do it differently. If it didn't work this way, try another way, but imagine what a world we'd be living
better
in
way,
if everybody could just imagine. It's a powerful world.
Yeah, I would say that word you can't, like Doc, and you can't, has taken away that imagination from us, because a lot of times we want to do something and then somebody say, no, but you can't do that. Yeah, just because you can't do it doesn't mean I cannot do it, and it fits into the next one, or the next few that we're gonna get to now as well. That is taking away your imagination, because if you are released to imagine, I mean, this was a cell phone, is imagination. Somebody like, why? I'm imagining speaking to somebody across the world. Do somebody imagine it somewhere? And
somebody imagined
today
that
it's here.
every household will have a computer in the household. Somebody imagined that.
Yes.
And people went, what?
Yes.
Why would every individual have a computer in the home? And now it's gone to they've got a hand computer. It's crazy.
Yes.
If you can,
So yeah, that's why I say imagination is super powerful. Yeah.
If you can imagine it, you can believe it.
Create.
There you go. And you can even turn around. You can believe it. You can imagine it. It's a powerful statement. And that leads to the next one. You take the next one. It gives you the power to do what?
It gives you the power to create. So
Yes.
you imagine, then you can create.
Because you see, every time we speak, we create. Because we create sound. We create meaning. We create purpose. And you can actually speak things into being. And the thing is, we have the power to actually speak ourselves positive, or we have the power to speak ourselves negatives. I've met people that said to me, my life sucks. Everything is wrong. Nothing works out. And I said, but you know what? You speak that over yourself. If you say my life sucks, it will suck.
Yeah, because that's what you want.
That's what you're speaking over yourself. I mean, rather create. My life is a breeze. My life is a gift. My life is just so different, and it's alive. And
I'm creating this. I'm creating that. I'm creating more wealth. I'm creating more fun. I'm creating more as I go. I create something new. Yeah, then you will start creating that within your life.
And even so with this session, we are creating to let people listen to something that makes them realize that there is a Heavenly Father that loves them. And it's his voice to them saying, I gave you the power to create. So why are you not creating?
And you're a miracle.
That's it. I gave you the power to plan. Now, I think, like John Maxwell says, failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing is, we don't always take the time to plan. We have to make time to plan, because if you want to have a good journey from point A to point B, plan about it. Plan when you want to put petrol in your car. You know what I used to hate is I'm ready, I'm going on a holiday, the car's packed, the kids in the car, and as you just drive, you're not 30 kilometers when you realize, oh, there's no gas in the tank, there's no petrol in the tank. You know how disturbing that is? It means you never planned.
The journey,
Okay, so let's not make this mistake, guys. Let's plan. You take the next one.
Then it gave you the power to speak.
Speak
so, I mean, all of these things fit into it's like, yes, you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this to create it. Because if you can speak things into being, and by that now you think like, you can't do that because it's not. Yeah, you can, because you can imagine it.
Correct.
You can plan it, like right, left, right, and then you speak it. Hey, listen here, we're going to do this, this, and this, and then this.
Just go for it. But you know, when it comes to speaking, Daniel, I actually want to speak to the 1 or 2 people on this call that's got, put it this way, the habit of not speaking up. Not speaking up and just swallowing your feelings, those emotions, is what long-term makes you feel depressed. You need to speak. In fact, you need to speak out, because keeping it in the inside is not right. And if you're on this call and you haven't spoken to somebody for a long time, I challenge you. Go and have a cup of coffee and say, well, and Daniel said to me, go and speak to somebody. I'm just here to speak. I don't know what I want to say to you, but I'm just here to speak to you. But that very act of obedience, of just going out and speaking to someone else and getting it out, is next level. I really believe somebody out here that message right now, listening to this message, that's you. That take action. And you know what? honor us by coming back and typing at the bottom says, guys, I did it. I went to go and speak out. And I have such a peace, or I helped to resolve, or whatever it is, because we would love to know your testimony. You know, Revelation 12:11 says, they overcame him by the power of the testimony, the word of their testimony. Because when you and I have a testimony, lives change. That's what happens.
Yes.
And then it says, I gave you
100.
the power to pray and heal. You know, we should pray for ourselves, because we know we have got the pneumatikos, pneuma, a spirit. Pneumatikos is the spirit within you.
Okay.
Because it starts with, we've got two kind of that. You get the psychikos, which is your mind and the power inside of you. And then you get pneumatikos, which is the spirit that is seated within you. So you and I, when we pray, need to pray in accordance with the spirit that's within us anyway. Because it's resident. Yeah. We need to believe that we can heal, but we have to pray. We have to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if I just look at the...
Yeah, I would say praying is like the way of you getting connected to the higher level, or to your creator. Because if you're not connected with that, then you're disconnected, and you disconnect. Anything is this is negative. It's not going to happen. So you need to be connected through prayer to know where you're going to go, and that will lead you through where you need to be. So I think it's important to be connected with your creator.
And sometimes your prayer is just calling out. You know, my son sent me a clip.
Yes.
That God's name, the original name was Yahweh. But if you think about it, it's YH, you know, it had no consonants and vowels, no vowels. So literally, you couldn't say it. And I looked at the clip that just says that literally from birth, it is just, it's as we breathe in and out, we're actually saying Yahweh.
That's how you start your life,
Correct. But
He's there in the beginning and the end, Alpha and Omega.
But you know that when you get nervous and you start breathing heavily, you know you're calling on his name faster because you need him.
Yes.
And when you relax, what do you do?
That time's a need,
And when you relax, what do you do? You breathe slowly.
It's like sort of like thank you,
Solemn. It's a peace. Well, I just thought that is fascinating, that every time you breathe, how you literally saying his name.
Yeah.
And from birth, I mean, the baby that was actually living in water, I mean, come on. And then what gets him to breathe the first time? A smack in the butt. And what does you go? Isn't it true?
Yeah.
The same. There's sound. I just thought it was powerful. And I thank my son so much for being so sensitive to know his dad would love that analogy. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Daniel, take us to the next paragraph. Let me just read from the top all that I give you. I gave you the power to think. I gave you the power to love. I gave you the power to will. I gave you the power to laugh. I gave you the power to imagine. I gave you the power to create. I gave you the power to plan. I gave you the power to speak. I gave you the power to pray and heal. Take it further, Daniel.
And it says, my pride in you knew no bounds. You were my ultimate creation, my greatest miracle, a complete living being, one who can adjust to any climate, any hardship, any challenge.
Stop there.
Stop
there. Because he made us, he says one who can adjust to what? Any climate, any hardship, any
challenge.
Think about that. Some people are living where the sun is shining. Other people are living in Alaska where it's cold. But he gave us the ability to adjust to any climate. So you and I can one day be in the sun, the next day we can be in the icy world, and we can make it because we can adjust. Powerful. Continue.
One who can manage his own destiny without any interference from me. One who can translate a sensation or perception, not by instinct, but by thought and deliberation into whatever action is best for himself and all humanity.
That's powerful.
Power to think.
That is powerful.
Power to will.
But he said, with no interference from him.
Yes.
So often we want things done for us, but he's saying, no, do it for yourself. I won't interfere.
You can do it. You're a miracle.
You can do it. You are a miracle. Miracles don't fear, remember? Miracles have a purpose. I mean, see,
Yes.
now I'm running with the book. I can hear it. Miracles don't fear. You live a life of purpose. I mean, it's
Yes.
coming back. It's just wonderful.
And also comes down to that fact is sometimes we're like, no, God, take us out of this terrible thing that's happening to us. Take us out of this terrible situation, where we should rather say, God, give us the power and the knowledge to get ourselves out of the situation.
But sometimes you land in situations for the right reason. Like a friend of mine actually has hurt her ankle badly.
Mm.
And I just said to her last night, maybe there was a purpose why you had to hurt your ankle so that you can rest. And she went, I never thought about that. I said, I
Yeah.
think so. Because you've been running around flat speed, and that is just a message. Stop,
Hey, chill a bit.
chill. Okay.
If you don't want to do it, I'll help you.
There you go. There you go. So then we come to the fourth law, the law of success and happiness. For I gave you one more power, a power so great that not even the angels possess it. Let me just talk about that. Not even the angels possess it.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, Daniel. When I read that, it had my attention, because what do you and I have that angels don't have? What? And he gave us
Power to choose.
power to choose. That's powerful. Which means we get to the fork in the road. It's left or right. We choose whether it's right
No one
or
else.
wrong.
Yeah.
We have the power to choose. He gave us the power to choose. He said, with this gift placed, and with this gift, I placed you even above my angels. What? So, yes, because we can choose. So that's the fourth law, the power
Free
to
will.
choose.
Free will to choose, yeah.
And will we use it? Why? I don't know. What else did he tell us there, Daniel? Go.
I gave you complete control over your destiny. I told you to be determined. I told you to determine for yourself your own nature in accordance to your own free will.
Let's stop there.
Let's
stop there. In other words, he's given you and us free will, whether we are going to be miserable or happy.
Or not, yeah.
Or not. I mean, the person that is just impossible to live with, that's grudgy and bumpy and miserable. This is, well, I gave you the power to choose. Versus the person decides, even though there's so much pain in their body, to smile and say, how can I help you? What do you want to do? And they're always there for you. But you see, the focus is moved from them to others. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's basically, you can either choose to stay where you are, or you can choose to change. It's your choice at the end of the day.
Neither heavenly nor earthly nature, you were free to fashion yourself in whatever form you preferred. You had the power to choose to degenerate into the lowest form of life, but you also had the power, out of your soul's judgment, to be reborn in the higher forms, which is even divine. So God is really saying to us, I've given you the power to choose. I've given you the power to plug in. If Robert was here, he'd hold up his cable that plugs into the wall and says, are you plugged in, man?
Connected.
Are you connected? And it's true. You and I have a choice. And this is really what he's saying. He says, however, it's free will. He's given us that power to choose. Take us to the last sentence.
I think it's also it puts us in that perspective of being a miracle. We're such a great miracle to God that he says, well, I'm going to give you something bigger than what even the angels have. I see you in a higher regard as even my angels.
That's scary.
Because angels don't have the choice to choose sin, but we do. So I think that is how important it is for you watching this to understand you are truly an amazing miracle yourself.
Yeah.
And your creator is seeing you in that light, that even you're higher than angels. And that's to me is very important. Yeah.
Well, Daniel, we're going to end the evening with this last powerful sentence that you're going to read very slowly so people can take it in.
I have never withdrawn your great power, the power to choose.
Read it again.
I have never withdrawn your great power, the power to choose.
Oh, wow. So it doesn't matter how we feel, what we think, who we think we are, is never taken it away from us. We still have that power. He could have taken that power away, but he's chosen to keep us responsible.
Not, yeah.
We have the power of choice. Oh, wow. So, Daniel, what is your biggest takeaway tonight for you as an individual? Your last word to our listeners.
It's just a sentence above that, or a few sentences above. I gave you the complete control over your destiny. That to me in this passage is the biggest thing that I'm gonna take away. And it's that thing of you got ultimate power to choose where you are today. Whether if you're in a bad place or something is bad is happening, it's your responsibility to choose which side you're gonna go. Are you gonna go like, oh no, woe is me, everything happens to me, or you're gonna say, right, this has happened. What's the better side? What can I learn from this? How can I be better from this? So it's that control you have, and you are in control, and it's your responsibility to make the right choice at the end of the day. If you don't know what choice to make, ask somebody, ask advice, because that's how you're going to get to that.
Well, listeners, there you have it. In the words of the wise Daniel van Zyl, it is your responsibility to choose. And I'm going to say to you, you are the greatest miracle. And God's Memorandum, chapter 9, part 4, is speaking to you in terms of tonight you now know the fourth law. You have the power to choose. Until next time, choose correctly, choose wisely. Cherry bye.
Bye.